Hello everybody, welcome to this lesson on equivalent fractions. Please pause the video and copy down the title and the learning objective. Welcome back. I'm assuming you have done that, so let's get started. I am going to draw a couple of shapes for you. So let's start with some pizzas. So that's pizza number 1. That's pizza number 2. And that's pizza number 3. They are pretty much the same size. However, I am going to split this in half, and I'm going to shade half of it, because I've eaten that. I'm going to split this into half and half again. So that means that I split that into quarters. And again, I am going to shade 2 out of them. And I'm going to split the last pizza into half again, then I'll keep going with halves. So now I count how many pieces have I cut that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There'll be 8 pieces. And then I'm going to shade 4 out of them. So on the first one, I only shaded 1 out of the 2. As you can see from these pizzas, I apologize about my drawing. It's horrendous. But as you can see from them, I have shaded half here. I've also shaded half there, and also shaded half there. So I can see from the diagrams that a half is equal to the 2 quarters, also equal to 4/8. Now, this is using pizzas. So if we just put down the fractions, we can say that, or we can see now that a half is equal to 2 quarters. And I also know, I can see that 2 quarters are equal to 4/8. Now these are equivalent fractions. They are called equivalent because they're equal in size. Even if they look different, they're equal in size. And this is how we can get one fraction. We can go from one fraction to the other. So if I have 1 times 2, 2, 2 times 2, 4. This is how I can make loads and loads of them by multiplying the numerator and the denominator by the same number. Look, same thing goes there. 2 times 2, 4, and 4 times 2, 8. Okay, let's give you a chance to try some. So, your turn. If I am to ask you, make a fraction that's equal to a third, what would you say? Okay, hopefully you said multiply by a number at the top and the number at the bottom. This can be any number. So some of you might have decided to multiply by 2, and you got 2 out of 6. Some of you might have decided to multiply by 3, and you would have got 3 out of 9. Or you might have even decided to multiply by 4. Sorry, that just say 3 there. So if you decided to multiply a third by 4, it would still make an equivalent fraction to it, as long as you multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. So this is all it is to equivalent fractions. Now, if we go backwards, and what I mean by that is this. If I had 2 6s and I go back to a third, how did I get that? You'd say, oh, madam, you just divided by 2, didn't you? You divide by 2 at the top and you divide by 2 at the bottom. This is called cancelling down, and that means making the fraction as small as possible by dividing them by the same number. This is called cancelling down. And the chant that we're going to use in maths for it is make your life simple, simplify first. So I'm going to write that down and you're going to copy it in your book. So chant make your life simple. Simplify first. This is really, really, really important when we start working with addition, multiplication, division of fractions. So we need to make sure that we know this really well. So if I go back to the 2 questions that I have here, I have 3 9s. Cancelling it down would give me a third. I divided them by the same number. I'm just going backwards. And if I have 4 12s, to go back to a third, I cancel it down by the same number. Now, it's really, really important that the same number is the highest common factor. I'll explain. Okay, so when I said that we need to divide by the highest common factor, this is what I mean. 4 out of 12 that we had on the previous question, I can divide them both by 2. That's perfectly fine. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. This is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. However, I haven't simplified fully because 2 6s can be divided again by 2. They can both be divided again by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So this would be the correct answer for 4 12s and not 2 6s. Let's just do a couple of examples together so then you understand these questions fully. Let's just get rid of that so that you don't get confused. Okay, so your task is to cancel down or simplify fully. This is how it's going to look in the exam papers. If I give you 8 out of 16, the first question you ask yourself is what number goes into both of them? So what's the highest common factor of 16 and 8? And we know how to do the factors of 16 and 8. So factors of 8, 1 and 8, 2 and 4. Factors of 16, 1 and 16, 2 and 8, and 4 and 4. So we can see that the highest common factor is 8. So you divide both of these numbers by 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 16 divided by 8 is 2. And you know that you have done it correctly. It's fully simplified. If you use the HCF, it's fully simplified. Okay, your turn. Let's give you a couple. So I have 12 out of 16. And also, I'm going to give you 15 out of 30. Please pause the video and do these 2 questions. Okay, so here are the answers. So hopefully you came up with the same answers as I did. I did the highest common factor of 12 and 16, and that was 4. And I divided both the numerator and the denominator by 4. So then I could cancel the fraction down, so I could make it smaller. And the answer was 3/4. Same thing on the last question here. We got 15/30. I found the highest common factor, which was 15, and I divided both the numerator and the denominator by 15. So mark your work, please. Now, what we need to do is you need to copy these questions in your book. These are your questions for today. Hopefully you understand what I'm asking you to do. I want you to simplify fully these fractions that I made up for you. And we're going to simplify fully by dividing both the numerator and the denominator by the highest common factor. So please pause the video and do these 10 questions that are up for you. And here are your answers. So I found the HCF for both the numerator and denominator, and I divided them by it to find the simplest version of it. So please mark your work, and I will see you in your next lesson. Take care, everybody.